Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation to come here today and to be really on stage. I'm going to speak about WEkEO. So I'm a technical lead from the UMETSAT side on WEkEO, and we will be here speaking about the role of WEkEO on the Copernicus program. So the Copernicus program comes with all these Sentinel satellites with several terabytes of data per day. And the big question is always, how are the users going to use this data? So WEkEO is one of the DIASes, as you may know. So it is Data and Information Access Services. It basically aims, the big objective, it's to make the Copernicus data as a whole as much more easy to access as possible. And for that, it has a big part of it are the hosted processing services capabilities. So to make the Copernicus data available, there is a distributed infrastructure across Europe that puts infrastructure close to the Copernicus data. And in this way, with the services on top, it aims to facilitate this usage and all the different types of access services to the Copernicus data. So here I will speak first about the services, so the WEkEO services. Then the HDA. Here we go a little bit more on detail and see the link between the HDA and the CDS API. And by then, the WEkEO 2.0, they will come next year, and the future plans. So briefly, WEkEO partners and services layer. Coming back, WEkEO is implemented by ECMWF, UMETSAT, Mercator Ocean, and the European Environment Agency that together built this big project of the DIASes, and they are also key players on the Copernicus world, of course. And for this reason, why it became so strong and had its continuation. We are currently divided into different data streams, data areas, layers focused on the different parts of the system. Here we will be focusing on the data stream layer to provide the WEkEO cloud and data services on top. The data discovery layer, it covers the web portal, training and outreach activities. You will hear a little bit about that tomorrow. And the data exploitation layer, it is focused on the thematic tools that will also be useful for the future of WEkEO, as you will see in the last slide. So the first question, as we already heard from OGC, is always how are the users going to find the data? How do they know about new data? How do they find more data related to others that they already know and they are looking for? So WEkEO puts together a single catalog for the discovery of this data, where the users can come and find hundreds of different data sets from the Copernicus satellites and also from the Copernicus monitoring and management services. So from atmosphere, marine, land, climate change, emergency come all together in a single catalog. I invite you to go and go into www.wekeo.eu and have a look at it. Currently with several petabytes of it, but the interesting part of it, as you can see on the down part, so this distributed infrastructure, as we have a cloud hosting services. So this is, of course, the base, the infrastructure part, with different that we call DPIs across close to the data sources and the expert centers, and on top of that, a hybrid cloud management system that makes it clear and simple for the users to do not be exposed to the complexity of the infrastructure. On top, there are the cloud-based services currently, so the harmonized data access, so the users search and find the data, and then they, of course, can download it transparently. With a single API, you'd be able to access all the Copernicus services. in a single language, a single way for the users. Do not need to go and learn about many different APIs and systems. We also have on top, just to mention, federated reporting. So all the Copernicus services have the feedback through API or through GUI on how is their data being used on WEkEO. So now we go to 2 slides with a little bit of information. So what is the current link between WEkEO and the CDS API? First, let me mention about harmonized data access. Here we have, as I mentioned, a single point of access. And the important point of it is that the data remains as it is, where it is. So this means that, for example, the data that is currently at this moment being produced in Bologna for the CDS, it's kept there. And when there is a user that accesses it through WEkEO, the download of the data comes directly from CDS to the WEkEO user. This has a huge benefit in terms also of timeliness. So there is no mirrors, there are no delays. There is immediate access to the data, and more, also very important, the reliability. So there is no corrupted data and no outdated data. The data is governed and maintained by the experts of the data. So as you have seen here on the drawing, there are data adapters. This is how it works. WEkEO has a data broker and data adapters that communicate and exchange with the original APIs of the services. This is also the case here for the C3S, where the adapter is it is running on Kubernetes, interacts with the CDS API, and it is scalable. This scalability allows us to respond to many users in parallel. But what we have proudly achieved also recently is that there is an automated synchronization between the 2 systems. So C3S and also ADS are increasing their data offer, come up with much more data sets, has also been presented on CDS presentation. And WEkEO is currently already being able to detect these automatically and integrate the data access, but also the metadata using the OGC standards and automating this communication between the OGC standards that uploads the information to WEkEO. Now, the last part of the presentation is about the WEkEO of the future. So WEkEO 2.0 will come next year, 2023. It is currently open, the tender for this, for the evolution of WEkEO. We will continue with a single API to all data sources, as this is one of the main concepts, and also the cloud computing close to the sources. So there will be more and more emphasis on the expanding the Copernicus data to more communities so that there is more and more upgrade and uptake. And this is also one of the aims is to facilitate the integration of trusted federated identity providers. So either clouds, other organizations, and so on. A big focus will be put on data transformation. So it's no longer only data access, but also all the pre-processing and types of transformations that come close to the data. And this is, we are aiming also to integrate the CDS toolbox into this and bring all this logic and benefits to the users to process it and achieve even better service. This, there will be also integration at the level of the Jupyter as ECMWF, they will also have Jupyter service, and there will be integration there. So this is a little bit of an overview of the data transformations. It's a very complex puzzle. We will do step by step and look into each piece of the puzzle and try to, as time goes, increase the amount of data transformations and pre-processing close to the data. Ideally, that we can also apply it in different data sets and bringing all together for creating data fusion. So partnership and evolution, strengthening, federation, procurement is currently open, and we have a multi-cloud that allows us to achieve this big goal of accessing Copernicus data efficiently. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that excellent overview and patience again with time management. Any questions for Joana at this point? We have two. If we keep it short, we can entertain both.
Hello, Hans, Maps Without Gaps EU, Era 5. So you say...
a little closer, Hans.
Okay, sorry. You say cloud computing, do computations close to the source, but you also said you're going to leave the data sets where they are. So what do you do when you have data set A in cloud A, and you want to combine it with data set B, which is in cloud B, and A and cloud A and cloud B are not very close together? How are you going to do that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Thank you. So what we have currently already, it's basically an efficient, dedicated link between the different sources, data sources, and it will be reinforced with new network technologies in the future to remain with an efficient and fast access between the data centers.
Clear. Thank you. I think there's a question here.
Hello, Maciej Kowalczyk, European Commission Climate Action. For your user base, are you able to trace international users, non-European users of the platform? And do you have any capacity to accommodate more of these users?
When you say trace, what do you mean?
Percentage of users or share of the users.
Thank you for your question. Yes, we do have mechanisms to do this. We have put it into practice actually also currently because of the issues we are having worldwide and measures we had to put in action. So we do have information about what the user when registers, where actually says that it's from, but also where it's accessing from. So we do have all this type of information.
Fantastic. Joana, thank you so much.